Wow, 1 year on YouTube. Fucking hell, that went quick, didn't it? I've got 668 subscribers at the time of recording this, and Revengeance is coming along, and there's plenty of other things to look forward to. Thank you all so much for an amazing year on YouTube. So, for this, I'm going to do a Q&A session. All you lovely people ask me questions, so I'll answer them, and something special at the end. So sit back and enjoy. First batch of questions come from my good friend Gordon NWR4. So his questions were, what's your AU for the main 11? His second question was, do you own any Hornby steam locomotives? I'm assuming he probably means just Hornby locomotives in general. And his final question was, do you like the C62? The answer to your question, Gordon, is yes, I do have an AE for the main 11. Although I will not cover the whole thing, because I do want to discuss this and my ideal versions of these characters. I might make this into a series just like Badman Productions and a lot of other YouTubers out there. But if you do want to see that, let me know, I'm pretty happy to do that. I'll hint at a few things. 1. Gordon's twin is Great Northern. Yes, Gordon does have a twin in my EU and they have a pretty dark history with each other. 2. Toby went from an LMY6, which is just the 4-wheel version of the J70s, to a J70 after an accident in 1903. And I'm still working on my AUs for the other characters as well. I have fully figured out Gordon and Toby, but I need to think of my others like, Duck, Thomas, Edward, Percy, etc. Your answer to your second question is yes, I do. I own basically every engine numbered 1 to 8, plus 2 other panniers, a Flying Scotsman, the Evening Star locomotive, a broken Black 5, another broken Hornby Gordon, not the one you're seeing on the screen right now, and others. I'm not really into it as much as I used to, because I tried customising a Hornby Lattice into a Gordon once and it got destroyed. But I do still like model trains, so yeah. Your answer to the third and final question is, yes, I do like the C62 classes. I don't really know that much about Japanese steam locomotives, well aside from Hero obviously, but I think they're pretty cool, and when I searched them up I thought, wow, what an elegant locomotive. I definitely really like these. The next batch of questions come from Craig Dalling Productions, which is a fellow subscriber of mine. 1. What was your inspiration to make Revengeance? 2. Who are your favourite characters aside from Gordon and Duck? And 3. Will you make a sequel to Revengeance? A lot of my inspiration for Revengeance actually came from Half Pariah, and a little bit from Solar Dark Times, even though it was written by a nonce. The villain for Revengeance, who I will not reveal, was actually inspired by Montague a bit, at least in terms of how his backstory plays out. I will not reveal the villain, so don't ask. As well, Gordon was also partially inspired by Half Pariah in terms of how he's flawed, but then he does have a heroic redemption, and Gordon's not an antagonist throughout Revengeance. He is literally the main character, along with Duck. As well, I really just wanted to make a film about Gordon and Duck because these two are my favourite characters, and I never saw much fan projects with these two in. As you can see through the clips I revealed, they do have a bit of a rivalry going on. But don't worry, Revengeance won't be a copy of Half Pariah. It did take a lot of inspiration from it, but it's not a copy, don't worry. The villain is quite surprising, I don't think you'll guess who it is. I think Half Pariah and Arcane Merchant is definitely a driving force for a lot of Thomas fan films, to be fair. For your second question, yes, I do have other favourites aside from Gordon and Duck. Gordon's my number 1 favourite and Duck being my second favourite, but I do have other favourites, so I'm going to put them in no particular order and just list them right now. Henry, Toby, Duncan, Stepney, Edward, Donald, Douglas, Spencer, Duke and Bulgy, just to name the odd few. For your final question, I have already considered making a sequel, depending on how well the first film does, which is going great by the way. When the film comes out, well the first one, if it does well, I will definitely make a sequel. I've already figured out what would happen, and already figured out the villain, the main character, and all that. It depends what you fans want. It depends how well the first film does. If it doesn't get many views, then yeah, no, a second film probably won't happen. But if it does extremely well and does better than the random like Birch Cathedral prediction video, then yes, I will definitely 100% make a sequel. I can promise you that right now. Next questions come from Edward Sim, who is a good friend of mine. Would you rather kill off James or Percy? 2. How do you feel the concept of James being a villain? Do you own a certain DVD or VHS? 4. Season 10 or Season 12? And the final question is, what editing software do you use? To be honest, I don't really like these two characters, but if I absolutely had to pick one character, it'd probably be James, because I feel like if I killed off Percy, there'd be more of a dire impact. And if I killed off James, I think it could cast a very interesting story. So yes. As for your second question, yes, I do think James could work as a villain. In fact, I think it's a great concept, if it's handled well though. I don't want it to be handled like the awful Tale of the Brave film, which led James to be one of my least favourite characters of all time. No. If you're going to make James a villain, don't give him redemption. Just make him a pure evil psychopath. That's how I like doing it. Out of the main fleet, James is probably the most antagonistic, so I think him working as a pure evil villain, I think it's actually genius. For your third question, yes, I do own Thomas DVDs, not VHSs. I would like to do a collection video one day, although I don't know if anyone wants to see that. Do you want to see that? For your fourth question, I much prefer Season 10 over 12. This season is relatively harmless, and I'd rather have a season that has a ratio of boring, good, and bad episodes than a season that has mainly bad episodes, like one or two good ones, and then the rest is just batshit crazy terrible. I cannot stand Season 12, it is one of the worst Thomas seasons of all time. How do they prefer this season over many of the hit seasons? I have no fucking idea, but this season is terrible, it can burn in the deepest part of hell. For your final question, I use the app called InShot. It's only a mobile app, but it's really good. It's simplistic, you can take the watermark off without any trouble, although you do have to watch an ad. It's simple, but effective. I've got a lot to appreciate. Bloody hell, I've got a lot of questions from Sudging Siren. What are your favourite fan-made characters and creations? What other creations do you like? Would you voice act in my series? Favourite Thomas songs? Favourite songs in general? What are your thoughts on the 80th merch? What do you think will happen in the show in 2026? And the final one was, do you like the Sonic films? The answer for the first two questions is, my favourite fan-made character is probably Montague if he counts. I love his backstory, his whole premise, the fact that he's just Duck but a different take on him. It's just so unique and very well crafted for its time. It even holds up very well today. If we don't count Montague, I'm going to have to say Dudley probably for that one. For your third question, do you know what? Yes, I would like to voice some of the characters in your little series. I would like to voice Gordon, Toby and Duck, please. Thank you. As for favourite Thomas songs and just favourite songs in general, I can't list top 10 to be honest, but my favourite Thomas song is probably Ode to Gordon, because I think it does Gordon justice and it's just a really nice sounding song. And as for my favourite song in general, I'm going to have to say Blinding Lights, because I think it's just a really nice song and I like the 80s style music. So that's my answer to questions 4 and 5. For question 6, I do think the 80th anniversary merch is really good. Whilst there are some flaws, like the James and Motorized for example, I still think it's good. Especially the new player role Thomas and the tar covered James. For question 7, I have no idea what is going to happen to Thomas in 2026. Maybe another reboot that isn't so terrible this time, and maybe we'll get the Mark Foster film. I have no idea, but I'm going to remain optimistic for this one. For your 8th and final question, I haven't really seen the Sonic films, so I haven't really got a thought on them. I think they sound cool, but I need to give them a watch at some point to be honest. Two of my friends asked, what's your favourite Railway Series character and favourite era of Thomas? Characters in general, I definitely 100% say Gordon. Everything about Gordon in the books is practically perfect. His character development is amazing. He went from a brash young snob to an older, wiser and more respectable engine. I just love it. Of course I'm biased because Gordon is my favourite character, but this was amazing. Definitely his best interpretation along with the models. Of course there are other notable highlights like Edward, Toby and Duck, but if we're just talking about characters that appeared in the books in general, like, you know, exclusively, I'm going to say the Big City Engine because I love his design and, you know, I just think he's cool. The final answer to your question is, well, I'm talking to Sodor NWR Studios while saying this, is the Classic Series. The Classic Series is my favourite era in Thomas because it had all the best episodes, for starters. Ones like Off the Rails and A Close Shave being my favourites. And, you know, All at Sea as well. That was a personal highlight. And Gordon and Spencer. I could list tons of Thomas episodes that I liked from the Classic Series. But, yeah, just the best seasons, best characters. Just best everything, to be honest. Fellow fan Enterprise asks, what are your thoughts on the Beatles? What are your thoughts on his takes on Thomas characters? Basically thoughts on alternative bases for Thomas characters, which are 3, 4 and 7. Thoughts on Phineas and Ferb. And question 6, if I'm honest with you, mate, I don't really know how to answer, but thank you for the questions anyway. Right, your question about the Beatles is, I think they're a pretty good band. I can't name a specific song I liked the most, but I think they're pretty good, and also Ringo started later than narrated Thomas, which is cool. I do really like your takes on Thomas' characters, and I think they're interesting. As for like my takes on the characters, I will cover this one day, I promise. And as for the Phineas and Ferb question, I'm not really interested in watching that series, it doesn't look very good, but thank you for the questions by the way, and I hope to see more of you in the future. A good friend, The Ruined Breakfast, asks, what do you do outside of Thomas, favourite band, and opinion on mountain engines? Outside of Thomas, I do a lot of things with my life. I hang out with friends and I watch TV shows like Breaking Bad, South Park, and Dexter, which I've recently become to like a lot of these. As for my opinion on mountain engines, I haven't read it in a while, but I do want to read it again. From what I've heard, it sounds pretty good. I don't really have a favourite band, but thank you for the questions. Brian Barreto asks, what's your favourite colour, what do you like most about your channel, and what do you want to be when you grow up? My favourite colour is blue is because of Gordon, and I think it's just a nice colour in general. I think the thing I've appreciated most whilst being part of the Thomas community is the fact of how many friends I've made through this connection of trains. Like, the whole interest is just, I find it nice. To be honest, when I'm older, I don't really know what I want to be. I figured out maybe a train driver, although I can't really confirm. It's an interesting question, and thank you for the questions, Brian. The final batch of questions come from my good friend Big Engine Productions. How would you rank engine numbered 1 to 11 in terms of good-heartedness? Who's your favourite TTE villain? Favourite film and opinions on Thomas himself? From the least nice to the most nice, here's how my list goes. James, Oliver, Donald and Douglas, Thomas, Henry, Duck, Gordon. I know it's controversial, but he gets a lot nicer later on, so I would put him up high. Percy, Toby, and the obvious number 1 is Edward. The best Thomas villain by far is definitely Spencer. I really like Spencer as a character in general, but as a villain, he's even better. Especially in Hero of the Rails, which will answer your question about my favourite Thomas film. It's definitely Hero of the Rails. Everything's so great about it, and Spencer's definitely a highlight, and his defeat is effing priceless. The final question I will answer on my Q&A is, what are my thoughts on Thomas the actual character? You see, Thomas is an interesting one. You either love him or hate him. I'm kind of in the middle of it all. I think in general I do like Thomas himself, although he has his problems. Hit Era Thomas was not great, Nitrogen Thomas was awful, Brenner was alright up to the Great Race, and anything else sucks, but I think Thomas is an alright character. With that, that's the Q&A finally done with. Thank you all so much for the amount of questions I got. I didn't expect to get this many, but thank you so much. It really helps the channel a lot. And I hope you've enjoyed the Q&A section, but please stick around, because there's plenty more to be coming with this video. So with the Q&A done, I haven't really got much else left to say. There's 4 people I'd like to shout out though. One goes to Big Engine Productions. Thank you so much, mate, because you've been there since the start of me being on YouTube, so I've got a lot to appreciate you for. You've helped me with Revengeance. You're actually going to star in that film, aren't you? Yeah, just thank you, mate. I really appreciate it. I'd also like to give a shout out to 2 more people. I don't know why I said 3. No, I don't know why I said 4, but Gordon the Big Engine She Does. Again, another close friend of mine. Shares the interest of Gordon along with Big Engine Productions. Thank you, Gordon. You've been a really good friend as well. I'm glad to have known you the past couple months now. Yeah, you've just been a really nice guy, and I can't wait to see more of you in terms of uploads, and I can't wait to chat to you soon. Edwardson, that's the last one I'll give a shout out to. And there might be one more, I think. So yeah, Edwardson, again, thank you for being a good friend as well. You've been there during the earlier stages of me being on YouTube. I've got to appreciate it, man. You've done a lot, and I know you're not voicing Toby anymore in Revengeance, but yeah, just thank you, man. Been a really good friend. And I'll give a quick shout out to The Ruined Breakfast as well, because he's been another noteworthy highlight of my YouTube journey, because he constructed a bit of music for Revengeance. So thanks, man. Appreciate it, and you've been a good friend too. And as well, I might shout him out whilst I'm here, Sudrian Siren. I've only known you recently, but thank you for, offering the role of Arthur for Revengeance. I know you'll do a good job. And yeah, that's it. That's all the people I've got to shout out. I wish there was a more bombastic way to end this. Because a Q&A is nice and all, but I want to make this video a bit more special. I know what to do.